All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakatum. And this is just going to be a quick lesson. I'm just going to title this, Know Your Enemy. Okay, know your enemy. I'm going to play some of this clip. We'll see what precepts come out. Lord willing, this is edifying. Let's get it.
The community has seen this viral fight video, and they are demanding city leaders hold the teens responsible. They believe the victim was targeted because he's black. As a black man, the first black police chief, do you believe that this was a hate crime?
So, imagine you're going to go out with your friends and enjoy a...
So the fight that they're referencing was, there's one in Cincinnati, I think last week or so, where some Jakes, they put hands on an Edomite, okay, and it turns out Esau started it, and now you got this one where a bunch of Edomites put hands on this Jake kid, okay, and you see the double standard of what's going on and how both sides are being treated. Is what he's kind of going into, just the backdrop here.
Movie. It's great to be
this
out the car,
nigga goofy.
lock the door, but all of a sudden, a fight breaks out, but the white mob is upset with your authority. Now, you don't know these. Get out your car, lock the door, and you're about to walk in. But all of a sudden, there's a mob of people coming towards you. Now, you don't know these people. And in fact, you happen to be the black person there. And the rest of your friends are white. But the white mob is upset with your friend. You don't have anything to do with it at all. But all of a sudden, a fight breaks out. And instead of them beating up your friend, guess who they turn their attention to? You. All of a sudden, you getting your ass whooped all down the street. Here, there, left, right, uppercut. For no reason. You don't even know these damn people. Why the hell they whooping your ass?
All right, so what does this remind you of, okay? Most brothers are going to go to the same or have the same thought or precept that I had. Okay. Where it says, hold on a second. Matthew 24:12, and it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now this young Jake, he was his friend, they don't tell you, was an Edomite friend he's walking around with, okay, and he had some other Edomites that they were mad at, but instead of them taking issue with him, they just jumped on him because he's a nigga and there's gonna be less consequences. And you know what it was, okay. But these are the times that we're going into. They tell you that don't see color, don't see race, but everybody sees race. Okay, so what does that mean? If you believe that, that means you're at a handicap. Okay, if you fall into that, you have to remember we're at war with these people. Okay, and the war is not going to be over until the Lord gets back. Okay, they hate that, but that's just what it is. Okay, let's play a little bit more.
But of course, this got to be a bad dream because this could never happen, especially in a place like Simi Valley, California, right? Rewind! This is the story.
That shows you these people that think that they're liberal, that they're so for Jake. They're always talking about the blacks and people of color and the diversity, equity. Those liberals over there in California. They're the most demonic, okay? The crackers on the right are racist as whatever, well, too. But the ones on the left, they are demonic, man, okay? They will smile right in your face, okay? But all the time, they just want something from you, or they're just trying to undermine you, okay? It's subversive, okay?
Of Michael Robinson, an 18-year-old black man that happened to be out with his friends. He got attacked by a group of young men for no apparent reason. And while he was being beaten, he was being called many names. We all heard about the Cincinnati Music Festival, where a group of white people were ultimately beat up by a group of blacks. but we didn't know the context. The context was the whites started the fight first. And when they did, well, the blacks went into overdrive. Of course, some innocent people became casualties, but that does happen in fights, even if it's wrong. But once this happened, Vice President J.D. Vance said this.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting.
He referred to the men as a group of thugs.
You see that? So the vice president came out and condemned that. Okay, but what does he have to say about this? And you know they're gonna make that accusation against us. Okay, this is I go to this a lot. Sirach 24, I believe it's Sirach 24 and 22. Or Sirach 22 and 24. It says, as the vapor and smoke of a furnace goeth before the fire, so are reviling before blood. Okay, so they have to shine the camera and the spotlight on your wickedness. Okay, even though they're doing more wickedness than you are, but they're doing it on Wall Street, they're doing it behind closed doors, they're doing it, you know, at these parties, you know, behind the scenes. They're doing it right there in the House of Representatives. Okay, at the Pentagon. That's where all their wickedness goes on. Okay, but you can't shine a spotlight on them. But they definitely have no issue. As soon as a nigga and they'll be the one that started it, to get Jake off his square, to get him emotional, to do what? Make you the offender. Okay, even for our words, which I'll get that in a second. Okay, and so this is why the apostles, they recommend don't even be out at bars and things of that nature, because you got agents out here that are looking just to provoke, to get you off your square. And so the vice president is going to come up and side with them. But you're going to be looked at as a savage, uncivilized, okay? Remember who your enemy is, man. Okay? You got to remember that. Okay? Isaiah 29, okay? And 21, okay, it says that make a man an offender for a word. I'll go to verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. Who is that talking about? Okay? The Israelites, the one at the bottom here in America, okay? And all over. Okay, it says verse 20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed. And we're at that time where the terrible one is getting ready to be brought down. Okay, it says, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Okay, it says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Okay, so these are snares. Okay, these are snares, the things that you're seeing out on the internet. And pretty soon AI is gonna silo everybody, man. Okay, you're gonna have the same exact news, and then 10 different people are gonna get 10 different news stories based on how they think in their thought process. If you're a middle-aged Muslim, or if you're a young Christian, okay, that's male or female, they're gonna have all the demographics set up to decide what news you should get and how you should be interpreting it. Okay. I was bringing it out at camp recently, how Candace Owens is bringing in how Grok, you know, it literally will just deny history, okay? Even when you brought the page in the excerpt of the book she was talking about referencing, Grok just act like it didn't exist, okay? So what's going to happen when the Bible and the Blue Letter and all of these different tools start becoming compromised because Esau is getting cut, okay? And when that day comes, we're basically going to be off the streets, brother. The Lord's going to be here, you know, when that goes down, you know. But it starts with these snares, these gates. See, they want us to look bad first, all right? And our women have a lot to do with it, which I'll get to in a second. It says, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught, okay? So they making a big deal out of something, but when they got caught doing it, they had nothing to say, all right? These people are our enemies, man, okay? Let me go to the next clip. I think that's about it on that.
It's interesting because all of the men that were arrested were black, but the white guy who started the fight didn't get arrested. But of course, when this situation...
So these racial tensions are gonna get escalate, okay? It's gonna get bloody, it's gonna get violent, more so than these little one-off skirmishes here and there. Okay, pretty soon these are not going to be false flags. They're going to be able to invoke enough anger and tension among the races to where people are going to do it on their own. Okay.
Happened with Mr. Michael Robinson, people understood that not many people were talking about it. For
the reason why the nuclear family.
So this is a proud young demon, okay, one of our women who they got no problem getting onto the camera and accusing us of all kind of things, okay? And America has no moral foundation, have no moral direction, no moral compass. It has no idea what righteousness is. Everything. Well, as a matter of fact, they do know what righteousness is because that's how they're able to turn it upside down. Okay, just like that in Isaiah 29 we just came from. In that same chapter, when it says a man makes a man offender for a word, well, earlier up it says, verse 16, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. So what they think is right is actually the wickedness. Okay, but they're going to try to accuse us, you know. They're going to try to accuse us, and they're the biggest offenders, man. It's called projection. Okay? And they're going to use words and the heartstrings of simple people here, okay? Women and all of these different things. Remember how they got Esau to buy into that war in Iraq? Okay, I remember they put all kind of images up of babies being blown up and killed in incubators, you know? They had a 15-year-old girl up there to get up there in front of Congress and cry and lie on a testimony, man. Okay, they went the extra mile to go over there and destroy that land over there in Iraq, man. Okay, and then when it was said and done, and 1 million people were in the spirit world after what they did, they just act like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, we didn't know. Yeah, they knew the whole time. Okay. But watch these people out here that are there to rile the public up against the men of the Lord, because that's ultimately the primary target. The truth has to be quelled in the society where wickedness flourishes. Okay, they cannot allow it.
The reason why the nuclear family was so heavily promoted by the government was because they wanted to give men, as fathers, the ability to be PDF files.
what?
Y'all, we're gonna dive into why I advocate for men to either save yourself, black men, or become passport bros. All those content creators who have a lot to say about me and my channel, I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this. Remember, we do not debate these broads. We just point and laugh and...
Right. Do you see how open and brazen they are with this? Our own women. Okay. You see? They're not gonna have any issues because we've been out there, getting on our women a lot. They're not the main focus of what we talk about, but we do get on them a lot because, they're out of order. Okay, and the scriptures say what? Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Okay, spare not. Okay, let me bring this out real quick. I believe that's in Micah. Okay. Okay. Speaking about who our enemies are, and our women, they signed that pact with Esau, man. Thou shalt not surely die. They think that turning against us is going to yield a better result for them, but it's not. You signed a deal with a serpent, man. Okay. This is going to fall. This is going to fall right on top of your own head. Okay. Micah 7:10, it says, well, verse 8, it says, rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. Okay. And you women have become our enemy. Okay. All of you people are. Okay. You can go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, to see who the enemies of the Lord is. Okay. And it's really all of you nations, man, including the 2/3 of our people. Okay. Niggas included, and a lot of you women. Okay. And it says, rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall rise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord Yahweh shall be a light unto me. And that's only going to come to the elect. We're the ones sitting at the very bottom, the so-called low-value men, the dregs of society, if you will. But we actually have the most value. This society is just upside down, okay? That's what you have going on, okay? And it says, verse 9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh because I have sinned against him, okay? Until he plead my cause. And see, this is what righteous men are doing, okay? Because we understand that, we messed up and that we're here, okay? For a reason. We're here to serve out a sentence, okay? That's why we learn to rule our spirit and not be so hasty in different things, in different matters, okay? Because we gotta take the low, man, okay? Until the Lord comes back and get us, you gotta eat prison food, okay? You gotta deal with niggas that got a problem with you doing, they want to prove a point, All right, verse 9, it says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause, okay? We sinned, all right? It says, and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So the Lord is going to judge these people on behalf of us. And the elder, my lawyer, just put out, he sent out in a text of a woman. She just got mauled to death by a pit bull, man. Okay? Nobody helped her for 23 minutes. Okay? She was 23 minutes just screaming for help, man. The dog took her whole arm off. Okay? And then when you look more into the story, the dog chewed all of her side, her ribs up, okay, got to her liver and her kidneys, okay? You see, dogs, they don't kill you before they start eating on you, okay? There's a lot of harsh judgments out here, and the Lord got these people marked, man. Know that, okay? But the Lord, if you don't see them as your enemy, then what reason does the Lord have to judge them, okay? That's why you got to separate from these people, man. And don't feel bad for them either. Because you thinking that you mad now, but when you start seeing what the Lord does to these people, your flesh going to be like, God damn. Like the Lord did them that bad, But you're going to have a cold spirit, man. Because the Lord, they didn't just offend you, okay? The Lord had them offend you, so the judgment would be triggered. But they got a lot of shit on their record, man, that we don't know about. So don't feel bad. Okay, it says, verse 10, it says, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh thy power? You see, this woman, it was talking bold and proud, man. Listen to some of what she's saying. I'm going to bring it back.
Wasting your time trying to have the father of your child be in their child's life, because men inherently are deadbeats. Men are deadbeats naturally. The natural order of men is to be deadbeats. Men do not have a paternal bond to their children.
Notice there's usually never any scientific proof to these statements. It's just their feelings, their hurt, their bit.
Okay, it's very, very rare. And I would go as far as to say the very few that do have a paternal bond is really just out of the fact that they are afraid of getting shamed, of not displaying that they have a paternal bond with their child. But men having an innate bond with their children does not exist.
You see, these women are completely backwards, out of their mind, upside down, and proud at the same time. That's the most egregious thing. It's one thing to be wrong. It's one thing to be wicked. But when you embrace pride on top of it, man, you just become a detestable stench, man. Okay? And the Lord's going to make an example out of you people. Okay? And completely backwards and wrong, has no idea what she's talking about at all.
Okay, this is not the natural order of things of how we do things, okay? Children and men at one point were never even able to coexist with one another. That quote, it takes a village, yeah, they were talking about a village of women to raise a child, okay?
She got no evidence, she can't cite nothing. She don't know where that phrase comes. People just hear things and they just repeat things. They don't have a mind to think and analyze. They don't critically think about anything, man. Okay, if it makes them feel good when they heard it, they'll repeat it. They'll internalize it. They'll repeat it. They don't know where it came from, who said it, what was the context. They don't do none of that, man. Okay, especially a woman. This is why you don't listen to a woman, man. Okay, especially one with a camera on her. All right.
Essentially, men were jealous that men didn't. They were jealous of the fact that they didn't have a place. Okay, they were jealous of the fact that women were all coming together. They were raising the children. They were doing the damn thing. together, and men just didn't have a purpose. Like, they just were looking around and they're like, okay, but what are we supposed to do? Like, you guys just pick us up.
Job 39:17, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. Okay, and so they're gonna use these brain dead, airheaded women that have been brainwashed and force fed bullshit and indoctrinated to come against you, man. They're gonna speak proud and bold and making things up. Okay, and then the rest of the public gonna be like, well, maybe we should do something to them. You see? We're not going to be able to just be walking around out here, man, okay? It's going to get that bad, all right?
Use this for procreation whenever you want to, and then just toss us back off to the side, and then pick us back up again whenever you guys are ready. And so essentially they got pissed off and jealous. They created religion.
Oh, I thought men were fighting wars and hunting and protecting the community and stuff like that. Silly me. You know, I must went into the wrong history class, but you know, we don't listen, we don't argue with them, you know, we just allow them to talk. So let her continue. Which essentially was a subjugation of women, slavery of women through marriage, and essentially they created this whole thing of the nuclear family, and they created the nuclear family because, once again, they wanted to give the man a place in the home.
Who is they? Ain't nobody have to give a man. A man just takes things. Do you know what you are compared to a man? You know a 15-year-old boy can just strangle a woman, a grown woman, with his bare hands if he wanted to. Okay? You know the average man could just take down 4 or 5 women. What are you talking about? They gave us. You don't control force, okay? This woman is stupid, and she said they made up religion to control women. Well, we wouldn't have to make up religion, okay? But she's so brain dead and airheaded that she just talking shit, man. Okay, going back to Micah 7:10, it says, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh thy power?" See, they don't really believe in the Most High. You see, they only believe what they see. Okay, and even then, a woman can be convinced that the thing she saw yesterday never happened. Women can block things out of their mind because they rely on their emotions and how they feel about things. Okay. And I know that for a fact, okay? A woman will act like something she never said something. She just forgot. You ain't never heard it, you know? But they just live in the moment, okay? And so they made that up. They said, we made up religion. So this is them saying, where is the Lord thy power? Okay? Because they really don't believe in the Most High, okay? It says, mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And this is going to start, it's going to get way worse than unemployment. Just letting y'all know that right now. It's going to get way worse. Okay? It says, in that day thy walls are to be built. In that day shall the decree be far removed. That's all. That's it I wanted to bring up on that. Okay? So this is what you got coming down the pipe. I'm going to end it here on Revelation 12:10. It says, and I heard a voice, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of Hamashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down. Okay, and these women are a part of the accuser. They're a part of the accusation. They signed a pact with Satan, just like in the garden. Okay, they're going to accuse us of all kind of things, man. So know who your enemy is. Okay, it says, which accused them before our power day and night, just making stuff up, man. And you know they want to demonize us with something. You know they do. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rachakodah Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah.